From today, Aisha Jumwa Karisa Katana is no longer a member of the United Democratic Alliance, UDA.
What if one of the first major political battles for the 2027 elections has already begun, and most Kenyans didn't even notice it? Just hours after former CS Aisha Jumwa announced that she was leaving UDA, Siaya Governor James Orengo appeared at her home in Kilifi. Officially, it was described as a courtesy visit. But in Kenyan politics, timing is often as important as the meeting itself. Was this simply a friendly visit, or was it the first move in a bigger political chess game? And if it was strategic, did the Linda Mwangi camp move faster than the united opposition to secure one of the coast's most influential politicians?
I came here to make a courtesy call. I couldn't wait any longer because I know Mheshimiwa Waziri has been Raila's daughter, very close to the heart of Raila Amolo Odinga. And in all the political work of Raila Amolo Odinga, when Aisha Jumwa was not there, Raila would not be happy.
Tumeongea maneno ambayo ni ya faida na mimi nimeweka katika akili yangu, katika moyo wangu. Bado na consult pia na wananchi wa Kilifi County and the Coast. Lakini nataka niwaambie ya kwamba kule mbele kuzuri.
Aisha Jumwa's departure from UDA should not be viewed as an emotional decision. It appears to be a calculated political move driven by the realities of the 2027 elections. For months, Kenya's political landscape has been shifting, with alliances changing and new coalitions emerging. Every ambitious politician is now asking one question: which political vehicle gives me the best chance of winning in 2027? For Aisha Jumwa, the answer may no longer have been UDA. Her biggest political ambition now appears to be the Kilifi gubernatorial seat. But that ambition faces a serious challenge if UDA and ODM continue strengthening their working relationship ahead of 2027. Political observers have speculated that any long-term cooperation between the two parties could involve negotiated support in different regions. Under such an arrangement, Kilifi, traditionally an ODM stronghold, could remain under ODM's influence, making it difficult for UDA to field and fully back a competing candidate. If that political calculation proves correct, then remaining in UDA would significantly reduce Aisha Jumwa's chances of becoming governor. Leaving early gives her time to rebuild her political network and negotiate with whichever coalition offers her the strongest path to victory. Then came James Orengo's visit. This is where the political analysis becomes particularly interesting. No public evidence has been presented showing that Orengo was officially sent by the Linda Mwangi leadership. However, the timing of the meeting has naturally fueled political speculation. In politics, speed matters. The first leaders to engage a newly available political heavyweight often gain an advantage in future negotiations. If the Linda Mwangi team hopes to build a truly national coalition capable of challenging President William Ruto in 2027, then expanding beyond its traditional support bases is essential. The coast region remains one of Kenya's most influential voting blocs, and Aisha Jumwa remains one of its most recognizable political figures despite changing parties over the years. From that perspective, reaching out quickly would make political sense. Waiting too long could allow rival opposition groups to make the first move and potentially secure her support instead. Whether Orengo's visit was purely personal or part of a broader political strategy, it has succeeded in sending one clear message. Aisha Jumwa has become one of the most sought-after political figures following her exit from UDA. Another reason this meeting has generated enormous interest is history. There was a time when very few people imagined Aisha Jumwa and Edwin Sifuna could ever find themselves on the same political side. Their political rivalry was fierce. At one point during a political event in Kilifi, tensions escalated dramatically when Aisha Jumwa confronted Sifuna on stage and grabbed the microphone from him in full public view. That incident became one of the most memorable symbols of their political differences.
Sheria ya chama cha ODM mwenye kutunga sio Sifuna. Mheshimiwa SG, kwa heshima zote mahali ulipofikia hautaweza kuendelea. Kwa heshima zote mahali ulipofikia hatuko hapa kusikia
masuala ya chama cha ODM. Hatuwezi, heshimu wa Mijikenda.
Yet politics has repeatedly shown that today's rivals can become tomorrow's allies. Kenya has witnessed former enemies forming alliances when their political interests align. Personal rivalry rarely outweighs political survival. If supporting one another increases both sides' chances in 2027, yesterday's confrontation may simply become another chapter in Kenya's ever-changing political story. For the Linda Mwangi team, bringing in leaders like Aisha Jumwa would offer several strategic advantages. First, it would strengthen the coalition's presence at the coast. Second, it would demonstrate that the movement is attracting experienced politicians from outside its traditional support base. Third, it would weaken competing parties by attracting influential grassroots mobilizers before campaign season officially begins. From a negotiation standpoint, approaching Aisha immediately after her resignation would also be smart because she would still have maximum political flexibility before making long-term commitments elsewhere. For UDA, however, Aisha Jumwa's departure creates challenges beyond simply losing one politician. It raises questions about confidence within the party as leaders position themselves for 2027. Whenever prominent figures begin leaving well before an election, opponents portray it as evidence that confidence in the ruling party is weakening. Whether that perception is accurate or not, perception itself influences politics. It also gives rival coalitions fresh talking points as they seek to convince undecided leaders that the political momentum is shifting. For UDA, retaining regional influence at the coast now becomes even more important because every high-profile exit strengthens the opposition's narrative that political realignments are already underway. At the same time, it is worth remembering that Kenya's political landscape remains highly fluid. Alliances have not yet been finalized, and many of today's meetings may ultimately lead nowhere. Much will depend on how negotiations unfold over the coming months and how parties settle candidate selection and coalition agreements ahead of the 2027 elections. One thing is becoming increasingly clear. Aisha Jumwa's resignation has transformed her from a UDA politician into one of the most politically valuable free agents in the country. And whenever a major political player becomes available, every serious coalition wants to make the first move. Sometimes, in politics, arriving first matters just as much as making the best offer. Do you believe James Orengo's visit was simply a courtesy call? Or was it the Linda Mwangi team's first strategic move to bring Aisha Jumwa into its camp before rival opposition groups could approach her? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more in-depth political analysis.